Happy Camper Radio.
Coming to you from the lodge at Amicalola Falls in beautiful Dawson County. We have here with us Daniel and his lovely wife, Deidre. And
hello.
we are doing a remote podcast from the kickoff of the Appalachian Trail 2019. And all that background noise you're hearing right now is all these wonderful folks that are walking through here, taking a look at some of the many different exhibits that are here. And Daniel, you've been over in the other room with our friend Gary Sizer.
I have.
And I know you've met a lot of folks over there, haven't you?
Absolutely.
Okay. And Deidre,
Yes.
you doing any window shopping? I
A little bit.
I noticed you and Gary's wife, Katie, walking around. And you're not really much into the hiking thing, but you know, I understand you're going to be.
I hike, I just don't overnight hike.
Okay, well, I understand in probably a week or two that you are going to be losing your husband for a couple days on a hike with Gary.
I am. He's going to go overnighting. I couldn't get the days off, so I'm going to go hiking with a group of girls.
I don't blame you for that. But Daniel,
Yeah.
you have recently started getting into hiking.
I have.
Okay, and we've talked about camping for a number of years, but I think Gary's inspiration has grown on you a little bit.
It definitely has. Yep.
It wasn't too long ago you came over and showed me a fancy backpack that you
Oh,
got.
very fancy.
What are you picking up here on today at the event?
I actually have been looking at the umbrellas. I think that's a really good idea for rain as far as heat. And just some of the bags and maybe in the future some upgrades to lighter gear from the stuff we have.
Dehydrating your own food.
Yeah, Deidre and Gary's wife Gary's wife just came from a lecture on hydrating and rehydrating and dehydrating food. So she had a lot of notes to take, so I'll be interested into what she comes out with.
I know, got to feed you, right?
Oh,
Well,
yes.
when we go camping sometime this summer, and I'm hoping we can go camping this summer if the rain will just stay away.
Yep.
I noticed you two eat very light these days, and it just
Thank you.
That's just not going to click at my campsite. So you may have to bring your own food along because
We're preparing to eat your food.
we have a lot of
We will
wholesome
eat your
that
food.
we'll be eating. And I know you two are having a great time. And Daniel, thank you so much for having me along. We actually have a display set up here.
We do.
We actually
We're legit.
brought the podcast gear. More importantly, we're here helping out Gary with the audio portion of his presentation, which
Yeah.
goes on at 5 o'clock today. And Gary's going to be coming to talk with us very soon. But, it's great to have this set up here. We've met a lot of great folks, and a lot of folks have talked about tuning into Happy Camper Radio. Made a lot of good friends. This is a good event to be at, and I'm really considering being here next year, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
We like it.
Yeah.
It's fun to meet different people and learn different things because hiking, it's always evolving. I mean, you think it's just walking in the woods, but
And everybody has their own way.
everyone has their own way, but there's always different ways and little tips and tricks on how to lighten your load or, what to dump from your pack. And it's just very interesting. It's a delicate balance, and everyone's trying to perfect it.
Well, heavens knows if I'm ever going to hike the Appalachian Trail, and if I do, it's probably going to be a very short hike. But we'll have to see. But hey, I thank you too for joining us here at the table. And
All right, thank you.
I know there's a lot more to do, and we've got a few more hours today to take in. And I'm
I know.
looking forward to Gary's presentation coming up here at 5 o'clock.
All
Thanks,
right.
Deidre and Daniel. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Skip.
Thank you.
Happy Camper Radio.
Well, Daniel, I got to admit, that was a lot of fun. I haven't had that much fun, and I can't tell you how long.
That's good to hear.
Anyway, it's good to be back in the studio again, and good to have you, our listeners, back here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. Always the place to be anytime you're ready to talk camping. Give us a call anytime at 404-537-2267. That's 404-537-CAMP. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker. Add us to Circles on Google+, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, Daniel, we're going to go ahead. We're going to be talking today pretty much all about our venture at the Amicalola Falls. And we really planned on going up there for one purpose, and that's to bring our audio gear up there to help our friend Gary Sizer with his presentation, which incidentally went off very well.
Mm-hmm,
I enjoyed it. Not being a hiker, a through hiker like Gary is, and a few other people that were on the panel there, But I had a terrific time, and I learned a lot.
Good. Yeah, I heard you were talking to your neighbors beside you at about a hostel that just started a few months ago, I think.
That's right, and we're going to be hearing from them here in just a little bit. But I've got to admit, I never really expected the turnout up there. It just goes to show that there are so many people into the world of hiking. Mm-hmm. The place was packed, and you heard the background noise in the interview that we just recently conducted. People came up to the table, and we actually had a booth set up for Happy Camper Radio. And a lot of folks who never heard of our podcast before are probably listening to it right now.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, getting the word out.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to next year's adventure. What did you pick up while you were there?
I picked up a couple of bags, like to put your food in or to put your clothes in. They're really light bags, and they had a special sale on it. It's from this company called Z-Packs, and they're very big in the hiker community. If anyone ever watches hiking videos, usually their tents and bags are the ones that these hikers use. So they're big into the YouTube community, and I got a couple of their bags, and just learning stuff, going to lectures, meeting new people, talking. I mean, that was pretty much it. It was a lot of fun, and it was a pretty nice day too. It was we actually we went on a little hike. They had a little exercise trail a little bit on the side of the lodge, and we did the little exercise trail. Like, you go to different stations and you push-ups or sit-ups or stretching, and that was a lot of fun. And
something I really need to start doing at my old age.
Yeah, they also had I forgot to talk about this, but they also have a Zipline course up there that's a lot of fun. So if there's anyone who ever wants to go up there, maybe not to hike, but like if you just stay at the lodge, which is pretty much a hotel, I mean, there's stuff to do. There's hiking. There's the zip line. There's little trails. There's the falls, of course, and Dahlonegah's not that far away, and that's a really cool town, and there's a lot of things to do at that town and stuff. So it's a pretty cool place to get away if you want to be outdoors.
Well, they've been doing this now for 4 years?
Yep.
And this is your second visit. This was my first. And I am definitely looking forward to next year. Daniel, before we go any further, let's take a moment to give some shout-outs here from some folks that we haven't said hello to in a while. But, we've got to recognize them because these are new campers to the Happy Camper Radio Show. Let's start by saying hello to Nicholas Holmes of Atlanta, Georgia, Christopher Estes of Barnesville, Georgia, Jeremy Norman, Rosalie Sanchez-Neuda, Kim DeSalvo of Waukesha, Wisconsin. They like us on Facebook. To Roger Manns, Keith Foskett of West Sussex, England, Carrick Hobson, who follows us on Twitter, and finally to Dennis Burton, who subscribes to us on YouTube. Thank you, each and every one of you. Glad to have you with us, and more importantly, thank you for being a part of our great Happy Camper Radio family. Would you like to be a guest on the program? Talk to Daniel and I. Anything in the world of camping is up for grabs. Give me a call, 404-537-2267, or skip, SKIP, at happycamperradio.com. Daniel, right now, we're going to go back to the lodge at Amicalola Falls, and we have someone very special we have spoken to before. Back with you again on a Saturday at the lodge at Amicalola Falls. And all this background noise, lots of folks having a great time, a lot of folks preparing to hike the AT. And we couldn't go any further with this program on remote without having our good friend and guest, Gary Sizer, with us. Gary, how are you?
Hi, Skip.
Okay.
I thought we were already recording, so this feels like the middle of the show. Yeah,
you just never know when the mic's going to be hot.
Yeah, we've been sitting here hanging out for a few minutes, just people watching and, kind of getting a good feel for the event and having a good time. So,
have you got it in your blood to get back on the trail?
Oh, 100%. Every time we come to this event, this is my fourth time, I always, after sunset, find myself standing behind the visitor center at the arch with my foot just ready to cross the line
Wow, and it's not going to be very long for these folks, is it?
Some of them are some started this morning. There are people out there right now who are hiking their first mile ever on the AT as we speak.
Wow, that's interesting. And I see a lot of these folks here, and I see a lot of folks with backpacks on.
Yep.
So they're getting ready.
They are. And a lot of these backpacks that we're seeing are way too big, which is one of the things that they address at an event like this. They have pack shakedowns where they'll go through your pack and find all that extra weight, make your walk a little bit easier if they can. Some other educational things going on here too.
And that's the whole purpose of this event today, is to educate folks who plan on being through hikers to go all the way to the very end at Mount Katahdin up in Maine, is to get educated. And that's one of the big things that this convention does.
I wouldn't say it's the whole purpose. It's certainly a big part. Another big part of it too is a lot of people come back to this every year and kind of use it as a miniature hiker reunion. So we're seeing a lot of people from previous years recognizing each other, hugging by the campfire, tearful reunions.
I see a lot of small tents here.
Oh yeah.
Very lightweight, including yours, the very first one I saw when we arrived at 8 o'clock this morning. And that's what it's like to pack light.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a friend, I still have a friend, but I have a friend who used to say that my tent, he joked about it, called it a nylon coffin, because there's really only just enough room for you to lay down in it, and that's about it. You're not really spending a lot of time in your tent on a hike like this. You know, you're using it to sleep, and that's it.
How do you educate hikers to deal with inclement weather, specifically rain?
Oh, yeah.
Because rain, as we know, adds weight.
That's true. Yeah, it's going to make your gear heavier. A lot of the gear doesn't really absorb moisture the way, you know, like you see a lot of cotton t-shirts and sweatshirts and, you know, or like Carhartt jackets, you know, like big sweaters. We don't wear those on the trail. We wear a lot of high-tech polymers that are designed to wick moisture or shed water so that when they get wet, they don't weigh that much more. And they can still do that while keeping you warm. The flip side, of course, is a lot of this gear is kind of pricey. You know, like you'll pay $150 for a good rain jacket.
Wow.
Yeah.
It can get a little expensive, but
No, but
it's
it'll
gonna
keep
be
you
well
alive.
worth it.
It will keep you alive. So.
Yes. But a lot of these folks, you know, being first-time hikers, what would you say the average is? If you say like you have 100 hikers, how many do you think actually make it to the very end? I'm sure there's not everybody's going to.
Yeah, the ATC keeps statistics on that very question every year, and the number hovers around between 20 and 30% depending on the year. You know, about 1 in 5 people who try to go the whole way make it, regardless of which direction they're leaving. And people quit for so many different reasons. You know, injuries, something comes up back home, you run out of money, you just decide, oh, I'm done with this. This is no fun anymore. You know, so you know, a number of different reasons why people might not make it, but the ones who do are about 20%, 25 maybe.
But you and a few other folks that we know made it all the way through there.
There's a few of us here today. Yep, there's a couple. Our friend Chris came with us today too, who just finished last October, I believe.
You know, and our listeners, I tell them we have a number of episodes where you were calling in from the trail.
Yeah.
You actually got a cell phone signal, and I imagine those probably are few and far apart, but when you get around some of those times where there may be a tower, you picked up the phone and gave us a call.
Yeah, that was always fun.
We had you on the program, and I've been inviting a lot of these new hikers that are going to be doing this for the first time to follow in your footsteps.
Oh, well, thank you.
When they're out there on
a good
the trail.
idea.
Yeah, pick up the phone when you get an opportunity. Call Happy Camper Radio. You know, our phone number is 404-537-CAMP. Is that easy to remember?
How'd you get a phone number that spells the word camp?
I didn't have to pay extra for it, but I had to do a little legwork.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Okay.
we were able to find one with the last 4 digits spelling out camp.
Okay.
And it's been easy to remember. We've had it now for probably about as long as we've been doing the show.
I got one that spells my last name.
Good. So everybody knows how to spell your last name, right?
No, they always get it wrong.
Okay, well, go ahead and spell it for our listeners so they know that.
Okay. Yeah, S as in Sam, I-Z-E-R. But don't dial that on your phone because it won't go anywhere.
Now, this afternoon, you have an event coming up here at 4 o'clock. Let's talk about that.
That's right. Okay. So we're hosting a panel this year. I typically come to the AT kickoff and give a speech or a storytelling event. This year, I'll be hosting a panel, and we'll be talking to 4 different people. Miss Janet, who is a famous veteran trail angel, a guy who goes by Chuck Norris, who runs a pretty popular hostel on the AT, we're going to have one brand new thru hiker and one person who just finished. So we're going to have these 4 people on, and we'll be asking them each the same question, and I want to get 4 different perspectives on the same issue. So rather than just interviewing one person, it's going to be kind of a fun free-for-all.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing some of the stories, especially from somebody that's been on the trail before. It's always very interesting to, being around campers or being around hikers. It's just a way of life for Daniel and I.
Yep.
It's always great to have you on the program. How's the book sales doing?
Not too bad. Yep, that AT book is still doing really well. In particular, the audio version, which, thanks to Skip, we have. Was able to record that in your studio. Really appreciate it. The audio book's still doing well. Second book, not so much. People are more interested in the AT, but that second book's out there too.
Okay.
Short stories about trails from around the world.
And where can listeners go to pick up those books?
You can get them on Amazon. You can hear the audiobooks on Audible. And I offer a premium service where I will call you and read you a chapter over the phone each night before you go to bed.
Oh!
No, I don't really. I'd have to charge a lot for that. I don't really do that.
Probably what I don't think your wife would appreciate you being up that late.
Hey, are you still reading? Yes. Hold on, I've got one more.
Well, Gary, it's been a great pleasure being here, and I'm looking forward to next week. Next week. It would be nice to do this every week.
It would, yeah.
But we're going to talk about next year.
Well,
but I'm glad we actually got a booth here today to set up. We met a lot of great people here at this event, and I'm really looking forward to getting it back into the studio, and Daniel and I will be back there again real soon.
Always good to see you, Skip.
All right, thank you, Gary.
Happy
Good luck
trails
this afternoon.
Daniel, I got to say, anytime that we have a microphone open, we're always going to have an extra one sitting there for Gary.
Exactly.
Because he can really keep the conversation going and really keep people up to speed. One of the things that I focused on during his presentation this past Saturday is one of the panelists who was a thru hiker who made it there. And not everybody does make it all the way through to the very end.
Mm-hmm.
He indicated that when you finally reach Mount Katahdin and you climb that big mountain, and it's like a 7-hour hike, and you're going up against all kind of rocks, so you got to have your good hiking shoes on. When you get up there and you finally are like, wow, I made it.
Yeah.
After all these months and all these people that I met on the trail, I finally did it. There's a moment of depression there.
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear them say that?
Yeah. Actually, with him, he actually flip-flopped, and that's a way that a lot of hikers like to do it, because if you do it all in one go from Georgia to Maine, by the time you get to Maine, it's going to be frosty. It's going to be like, unless you're hardcore and you can do it in like 4 months, it's going to be like mid to late September, early October. And up in Maine, it gets very cold, and sometimes people don't like the cold. So what they'll do is they'll go to the halfway point and then drive or fly up to Maine, summit Mount Katahdin, then come back down to it's called Harper's Ferry. That's the midway point in West Virginia. But yeah, he did that, but that's usually the ending point for people. And yeah, basically what you're doing is you're living a whole different lifestyle for 4, 5, 6 months, depending on how fast you are. And you get into a rhythm, and you get into, okay, this is my life. And then before you know it, it's over. And like, you were so used to that life, and now it's all gone, and reality sets in, and it's so different from the trail. And it's just adjusting. I think it's just a big adjustment from something new every day, laying somewhere different every day, sitting somewhere different, seeing a different scenery, seeing the seasons. Like when a lot of people start like in March or sometimes February, they'll be in wintertime and they'll be hiking. They'll be hiking to spring and they'll be hiking to summer. So you get to see the weather changing as you're hiking. And like different places, the season is different. Maybe it's not quite spring in the Smokies, but it's spring in Virginia once you get there. And then fall starts coming once you're up in New York or something. So it's really cool to walk the seasons when you're doing the trail. And it's just a really awesome experience. And I think it's a life changer. It changes a lot of people's lives. A lot of people, they want to do it for a lot of different reasons. They want to, like, if I ever did, I'd want to do it like right after I retire to like introduce myself into retirement. But a lot of people will do it because they're just going through a lot of stuff in their life, or a lot of college kids, they'll get out of college and right before they want to start their professional life, they'll do the trail and have it segue into professional life. But it's a good way to transition from one way of living to another way of living. And sometimes when people don't do that, it's kind of weird that you live that life, but then you got to go back to your 9 to 5. You wanted to do this trail, you got the time off, your boss let you off, you're at your job, then you quit, so to speak, but 6 months later, you're back in that office, you're back in that cubicle, and that's really hard for some people to do. So
the bottom line here is, once you reach the end of the trail, that's it. It's back to work and paying taxes.
Yeah, exactly.
But I couldn't help but to think when we last spoke with Gary, when he finished his Appalachian Trail hike, and that phone call we got.
Hello, Skip. Hello, Daniel, and hello, all you happy campers. This is Gary Sizer, the Green Giant, calling not from the trail, but from a car, because I am in a car right now with my lovely wife, Katie. Hello. And we are driving home from Maine because, guys, I am done. Yep, that's right. Yesterday afternoon, we both summited Mount Katahdin, 2,185.3 miles. Done. Going to take a couple of days to get back down to North Carolina, stop in a few spots along the way to rest and visit friends, family. Then I'm going to sleep for a few days. So I'm really looking forward to talking to you guys and telling you a little bit more about the trip. And I hope you're having some great camping adventures on your own. And we will talk soon. Thanks for following so closely and being interested and being interesting. So I'm going to go get some rest and some food now. I'll talk to you guys as soon as I can. Thanks a lot, and happy trails and happy camping. Bye-bye.
You thought I threw that one out, didn't you?
No. Wow, that's really cool.
I'm telling you, you think I erase stuff. You think I throw things in the trash can. Nope, I hold on to everything. But, yeah, I remember that phone call we got from Gary, and it was really exciting to hear from him one last time while he was out there on the trail. And he's become a lifelong friend of both of us ever since then. And a lot of the folks that are going to be hiking the Appalachian Trail, in fact, a lot of the folks who came up to the table while we were there at Amicalola Falls, actually, picked up one of our cards that had all the show information on it. And I told them, I says, while you're out there on the trail, when you get a cell phone signal, pick up the phone and call us.
Yeah.
Daniel and I would love to hear where you are and who you are and where you're from and all that good stuff. But yes, you mentioned earlier that we had a nice couple sitting next to us. And surprisingly, Daniel, they were from the area that I love to go camping in. And I just can't wait to hear from them.
Very busy day here at the lodge at Amicalola Falls. Skip from the Happy Camper Radio Show, and joining me here behind the microphone right now is Stan from the Enota Mountain Retreat. And Stan, I'm very blessed to have you as our exhibitor right next door to our table.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here. Glad to be here. It's an exciting time. This is our first AT kickoff, and we're really getting ramped up to start our new hostel and really get the word out that we're 1.4 miles down from Red Clay Gap, and we've got a hostel where we do all the home cooking and we take care of the hikers, and really an inviting, beautiful place for them to come in and stay with us.
That's great. How far are you from the trail?
We are 6.8 miles from Unicoi Gap and then 1.4 miles down the mountain to Enota. And it'll actually come down, if you follow the Blue Blazes from Red Clay Gap, you'll come down and you'll actually come out onto the steps of Enota right there in the middle of our park. So we're right at over a mile from the actual AT.
Okay, so the kickoff right now is today, and very shortly, a lot of these hikers who are here visiting are going to be hitting the trail.
Yes, sir.
So you should be seeing some of them coming your way
Yes,
in a
sir.
matter of time. Now, one of the things that caught my ear the minute I got here is to understand that you are all from Hiawassee.
Yes, sir. Hiawassee, Georgia.
A lot of folks who listen to the show hear me brag about Hiawassee all the time. because we camp up there.
Yes, sir.
And I had no idea that we were this close to you, so definitely
Yes, sir.
we're going to be looking you up. Tell us a little bit about your campground and what you have to offer there to
Okay,
guests.
we got a lot of history at Enoda. Back in the 1800s, the Cherokee Indians were crossing across this great nation. They saw Enoda, and they decided to call it home. And in the 1940s, some kids that done more than play video games got up there and built a couple cabins, and they called it Camp Pioneer. That became the original YMCA. So from that point, about 20 years ago, our owner, Dr. Swan, she came out from Atlanta. She was a highly successful chiropractic doctor, and she bought Enoda and turned it into a mountain retreat. It's been there 20 years. And here recently, she called me and my wife, Amy, in to manage the place and to really just kind of open the place back up to the public and get the word out. We have the 3rd, 5th, and 7th largest waterfall in the southeastern United States. There's nowhere on the property that you can't hear running water. It's absolutely amazing, and we're actually ranked number 7th in the nation in campgrounds.
Wow, that is terrific. That right there alone is going to draw a lot of our listeners to your campground, and I'm very excited about that, especially the running water.
Yes, sir.
I love running water.
Yes,
right
sir.
next to the campground.
Best night's sleep you could possibly have.
And I get it each and every time. I'll find the closest place to the stream, and that's where you can find me.
That's it.
But is your campground open year round?
Yes, sir. We're open year round to the public, and we actually have the capability of taking on up to 300 people on a retreat. We have retreat houses. We have a full kitchen and an organic garden, so we can do farm-to-table restaurants during the spring. And we can customize to any type of retreat that they have. We have a Dakota house that actually sleeps 45, and so we can bring many number of people in, and then we can just have singles come in and enjoy the park. We have day passes. We have farm animals, a full farm where the kids can come in and feed the ducks and pet the rabbits and everything. So it's a really family-oriented, just great time.
Well, this is a family-oriented podcast, and I tell you what, I'm looking forward to coming up. In fact, whenever we do show up, we're going to bring our show right along with us.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully get to meet a lot of these wonderful folks who go camping. Nothing like the great outdoors. I can tell
Nothing
you
like
that.
it. Nothing like
Yeah.
it. If you're lacking in your life, step out there and let the natural forest heal you.
Yeah, Stan, where can listeners go to find out more about your campground?
You can look us at Enoda. It's ENOTA at Enoda.com, and you can check us out there on the web. And you can also go to Enoda.com, and we're looking forward to just a great season and looking forward to this new hostel really kicking off and taking care of these hikers up there. Feel free to come in and check us out for the day pass. We'll give you a tour of the place, and we look forward to it.
From Hiawassee, Georgia, and you'll be hearing more from us. Stan, thank you so much for talking to us
Thank
today
you.
on Happy
Y'all have a
Camper
blessed
Radio.
day.
Wow, Daniel, I know exactly where the place is.
Mm-hmm.
And next time I drive up there, I am definitely going to stop by and pay them a visit. That is so wonderful, and it's so coincidental
Yeah.
that, I drive right past there, and I had no clue. All right? But you know what? I have a place I love to go camping. Now I have two places to go
There you
camping
go.
when I go to Hiawassee, and you're going to have to come along because it's so close.
Absolutely.
You say, I don't like camping anywhere nearby. I want to go somewhere different, somewhere to a far destination. Well,
That's-
Daniel,
I have a 75-mile rule. I mean, the closest I'll camp is maybe 40 miles, but I like to get somewhere. So, like, if I forget something, I just forget it. It's just a mental thing. I've always had it my whole life. Me and my parents, we had a trailer up in Ellijay, Georgia, and that was about 100 miles away. And so I like the 100-mile radius. But yeah, that sounds like an awesome place to go.
yeah, I always say the 100-mile radius is a short-distance camping trip. Anything above 100 miles, consider it to be long distance.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've had a lot of fun there, and I want to also tip my hat off to the folks at Amicalola Falls Lodge because, Daniel, they really went out of their way to help us out.
Yeah.
We had no clue that we were going to have a table there for us to set up our gear, to set up for interviews. And the one girl, I think her name was Morgan, she was a real sweetheart.
Yeah,
She
really
really,
helped us out.
really went out of her way and helped us out.
She asked us if we needed anything. Skip, you didn't tell our fine listeners that you got a free lunch at Amicalola Falls. They gave all the exhibitors a free lunch, and Happy Camper Radio got their free lunch, and that was really awesome.
I think you took one of them boxes and slid off into a corner somewhere, Daniel.
But that was really
You
cool.
don't try to fool me.
They were really hospitable, and like anything we needed, they were on it. They helped us actually when we were setting up for Gary's talk for his panel. They were helping us out with the PA system and plugging everything out and just asking us what we need. Really hospitable, really nice people.
And only about an hour and a half from our studio. So next year, Daniel, I'm definitely going to make it a point to get on the agenda, make sure that we have a table there, and get up there a day early. Mm-hmm. All right, because this way I want to take some time, and hopefully no rain, but I want to get out there on that deck, and I want to look at that beautiful scenery. Yeah. I mean, you can see miles and miles of mountain scenery. There's nothing like it, folks. If you ever happen to be passing through Georgia, visit Amicalola Falls. You'd really, really love it. Maybe next time we'll have a little bit of time in the schedule where we can actually take some photographs and spend some time by the falls. It's time now for our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show.
Happy Camper Radio. Happy Camper Radio.
And you hear them talking about it here, and it is going to be our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. It is the Inota Mountain Retreat. The Inota Mountain Retreat is the perfect mountain escape anytime you're ready to get away from the hassles of normal everyday life. Conveniently located in the North Georgia mountains between Helen, Hiawassee, and Blairsville, Inota is rated to be in the top 100 camping destinations in the country. The highest private elevation in Georgia, Inota is surrounded on all sides by mountains of the Chattahoochee National Forest. Located on 60 acres in beautiful mountain scenery, you'll find several great accommodations, including vacation cabins, full hookup RV sites, pop-up and tent camping sites, and if your group or organization is looking for the ideal getaway for an upcoming event or seminar, the Inota Retreat Center can accommodate up to 250 people. Call them today for your next workshop, retreat, or most any other gathering you have in mind. Inota is also a pet-friendly facility. Daniel, you bring Fitz, I bring Sadie.
There we go.
Hey, wouldn't that be a great combination?
Yeah, great.
At Inota, you'll discover 4 breathtaking waterfalls, 5 bubbling streams, and 2 trout ponds. Imagine how well you'll sleep at night at the sounds of gentle running water within an earshot of your campsite. The entire property is certified organic with a 10-acre biodynamic garden and farm. They also have miniature horses, a couple of cows, goats, rabbits, and ducks. Inota offers a number of fun kids' activities, including animal feeding, farm tours, 3 in-ground trampolines, playtime in the streams, fishing, hay rides, bonfires, and so much more. Give them a call toll-free, 1-800-990-8869. That's 1-800-990-8869. Visit them on the web at enota.com. That's ENOTA.com. We'll have a link to their website all week long at happycamperradio.com. This is a beautiful place to get away any time of the year. If you live in Georgia, planning a visit any time down the road, consider Inota Mountain Retreat. When you get in there, make sure you ask for Amy Jacobs or Santy Wallace. Great camping destination, the Inota Mountain Retreat in North Georgia. Our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show.
Skip Huber on happycamperradio.com.
And again, if you have a campground that you would like for us to feature on the program, get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com. Be sure to include a link to the campground website. And that's going to wrap up this edition of the Happy Camper Radio Show. From Amicalola Falls, next week, Daniel, we've got another great episode with more information from another great exhibitor who is there, and he was full of all kind of great information, so I can't wait for his interview to come up. Remember, folks, every pet deserves a loving home. Do exactly like I did. Visit your local shelter and adopt a pet today. You can find us online anytime at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker. Add us to Circles on Google+, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper. Daniel's a happy camper. Woo-hoo. And we better believe it, friends. We're going to do our best to make a happy camper out of you. Thanks for joining us. This is Happy Camper Radio.
Happy